The Pilates Standing Arms Series is a traditional ending series in the classical syllabus, but it can really be done just about any time, and it's great if you are on the road or at work and don't have a ton of space. If you're wondering what this is the bed for my Cadillac in progress, and that's just the only place to store it, so that's where it is today. In this weight series, we typically use light dumbbells. By light, I mean 1 to 3 pounds. These are my 2-pounders. In classical, we usually keep that weight limit at 3 pounds because the goal is to focus on connecting to our postural muscles rather than adding a lot of mass. So that's just for your reference. I'm not going to be using weights today. I'm going to be using my 1-pound arm weights, but really the reason I'm not using weights is because I want to show you that these moves can be done even if you don't have weights. Maybe you're traveling and you have space in your carry-on is absolutely of the essence, so bringing a couple of even 2-pound weights was just not feasible. So you don't have any weights, but you still want to maybe get some movement in. I love this for decompressing if I've been sitting in like a conference room all day or just been on a plane. So even if you don't have weights, you can do this. I'm not even going to throw down a mat. That's how straightforward this can be. So biceps 1. So first I'm going to think about sinking my shoulders, and my shoulders are going to come up because we're going to move the arms up. But I'm thinking of sinking my shoulders to connect them. I'm thinking of drawing my front ribs toward my back a little more, and then I bring my arms like I'm serving a tray. For biceps 1, I curl in and extend. I curl to just past 90 degrees and extend. And if you have weights, great. Just grab your weights and do this workout with them. If not, you can change the flow and use your own body to create resistance to still get some good movement in. Biceps 2, open out to the side. I am not totally to the side, or else I would just flare my chest out, so I'm slightly in front, but it looks like a nice to the side from the camera. Same movement, just past 90 degrees. Now there are some people who will go all the way to the shoulder, and that's fine. This is a range that I'm used to working in, that I really like. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying lifted in my abs. And I'm trying to feel this movement coming from my back. And if you're like, what does that even mean? It will make more sense as we go on. I think I'll try to explain it. Biceps 3, arms by my side. This one's really hard for me because of my tight shoulders and elbows. Have your arms as close to your hips as possible and lift up and down. Try to touch your shoulders in this one. I'm not doing that, but that's the range we're sort of looking for. And when I say move from your back, I really try to connect into especially the muscles surrounding my shoulders and my side body, and I try to feel those activating as I move my arms. All right, boxing. So in the classical sequence, we come to a narrow parallel position, come down into a squat. Again, if you have weights, keep your weights, draw your arms in by your chest. If you are not using weights, just use light fists. Reach one arm forward and one arm behind you. Bring them in and switch. I'm adjusting my form here. I was really hunched over a lot more than I'd like to be, and switch. And switch. So you're in a squat and you're aiming for something just not too rounded. Not everyone's going to have a totally flat back, but aiming for just not being hunched over, really. Imagine you could draw some sort of line from your hips to the wall or to the seam where the wall meets the ceiling. And you can drop down and roll up one vertebra at a time. Come back to your gentle Pilates stance. That's what we started with, which is heels together, toes slightly apart. And if that doesn't work for you, feel free to work in parallel the entire time. Standing mermaid or standing side bend. you can bring your arm out here. I like to bring my arm all the way to my head, and that gives me a bigger stretch through my side body. I really like to reach long, and yes, that does bring my shoulder up, and some people have opinions about that. In this particular instance, I don't care that my shoulder's coming up, because again, I want to maximize all this stuff here. And let's hold on this last rep. You can drape your arm over your head. And then switch sides. Again, every time I switch a position, I'm always checking in that my ribs are drawn in, because my upper ribs want to flare out a lot, and that's pretty normal. A lot of people like to exhale on the side bend. I like to inhale on the side bend. Let's hold this one, and then breathe normally. Don't hold your breath, please. But I like to inhale on the side bend because, again, that for me, it helps to maximize this stretch here. All right, hug. Come back to that parallel stance. Find something, something just not super round. If you have weights, bring the actual sides of your weights together, or you can work from gentle fists. Yeah, I'm going to work from gentle fists, I think. You could also have your fingertips touch. I'm going to work from gentle fists. I'm trying to connect to those postural muscles. Kiss your shoulder blades together to lift your arms out and down. Open your arms, hug your arms. Open and hug. Shoulder blades irresistibly drawn together and draw apart. Draw together and draw apart. Two more. Last one. Roll down, roll up one vertebra at a time. Bring those heels together. Zip up. If you have weights, the butts of your weights are together, or you can just keep light fists together. I'm going to take an open position. So I'm going to make a triangle with my thumbs and forefingers. And I'm going to create just a little bit of pressure between those. And that helps me feel my upper back muscles turn on. And I'm going to draw up and draw down. And draw up and draw down. How high should you be drawing up? To any range where, again, you can feel your back body staying in. So I'm going to deliberately go too high. If you see I go too high and my chest wants to just stick out, my ribs want to flare. So I'm keeping it just about here, just at the base of my chest. You might be able to go higher while keeping your ribs contained. If you can, cool. If not, don't stress. Last one. I'm going to turn around to the back to show you the shave. Again, I'm going to keep that triangle. If you have weights, the butts of your weights come together, more or less. If you're really tight in the shoulders and they're not coming together, c'est la vie. Get them as close as you can. So again, if you're not working with weights, you can work with a light fist. I'm going to make this triangle. I'm going to bring my hands as low as I can, which for me is just about the crown of my skull. In theory, your hands are coming down toward the base of your neck. That's just not happening for me, so don't worry about it. And I press up, and I draw it down. I bring it up. I like to use the exhale to help me draw it down. Press up, and draw down. When I'm thinking of trying to connect to my back muscles, I'm really trying to feel the ones that are between my shoulder blades, close to my spine. And no, I'm not getting super anatomical here, because I'm going to guess that most of you on this list don't. That's just not what your background is. So I'm going to just be throwing out a bunch of words that don't do anything. Whew. All right. Coming back to face. I'm going to just face forward. Triceps. Again, this is parallel. I am actually going to come side to side so you can see this. You can just stay facing me. I'm bringing my hands toward my chest. Again, if you can get your weights or your hands to your chest, cool. That's clearly not what's going to work for me. That's great. Just work with what you got. So I flick my arms back. If you can, flick those wrists back. That is super hard for me because I type too much. Bring your hands back parallel. Draw them back to your chest. Press out. Flick your hands back. So I'm trying to get my fingertips toward the ceiling. Straighten them, bring them back in. And yes, if you're using the dumbbells, try the wrist flick as well. Honestly, I should probably do this just with my day job. I should probably do this particular exercise every single day. This is probably like if I was like, one thing you should do every day, this is it. This is the one thing that I personally should be doing because of all the typing I do. So if you are working at a computer job, maybe just, even if you don't have any weights, do this motion at the end of your day or throughout your day. Drop down, roll up, bring it together. All right. Coming toward the end, we've got our, chest expansion. I always forget that one. We do chest expansion in a lot of, we do it on the reformer, on the Cadillac, on the pole. We do it in so many ways. So again, if you have weights, hold your weights slightly. I'm gonna, again, turn to the side. You are in your Pilates stance for this if it's comfortable. If not, just go parallel. Reach your arms. I'm gonna keep my hands flat since I'm not using weights. And again, I'm checking that that I'm not just throwing my ribs out. I'm gonna draw my hands to my hips. I look toward the computer. I look center. I look toward my window. I look center, draw them up. Draw my arms up. Draw my arms back down. Now I look toward my window, to center, toward my computer, to center, and come up. Reach it down. Switch the head directions, and come up. Next one, and a look, and a look, and up, and keep going. Take it down, do your looks. This is one also that I would recommend for myself to do every day. I actually do look and look. I just don't do it with the weights every day. I do it usually on the reformer, and a look, and a look, and on my petty pole, but once my Cadillac is happening, this is probably I will probably do it on the Cadillac every day because that's my favorite place for it. All right, let's finish with the sparklers. If you have weight, I'm gonna grab these for a second. If you are using weights, we usually hold them at the butt of the weight and swirl them up. If that just doesn't feel like super safe for you, just hold the middle of the weight and swirl them up. That's really fun. Work with whatever feels good. I'm gonna be in my Pilates stance. I'm gonna take my arms up and I'm gonna swirl them the other direction down. Swirl them in one direction up. Swirl them in the other direction down. Swirl them in one direction up. I love this one. This feels nice if you've been sitting or driving or typing. That's the thing. For me, I love doing these because so many of them they just feel good in my body. All right, so that's your short Pilates arm series. At least that's the version I learned. I know there are lots of other variations and things. That's the one I learned. That's the one I like to do. And I hope it helps you feel better after a flight or a drive or a lot of sitting.